Hello, I'm Gene Rosov. I'm the president of Iodine Products. I'm going to present to you today a device that we got from our manufacturer. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this video to look a little bit better. It's a device from our manufacturer that um, we got a whole bunch of them, and they aren't really clinically adequate to our needs, but they work quite well as passive molecular iodine inhalers. And so what we do is to give them away for free with just the cost of the actual iodine solution that goes into them. Unlike our regular device, which is pictured here, which takes, you probably can't see it, takes about 30, 25 to 30 milliliters of 10% PVP iodine at the bottom of it, and works extraordinarily well. Very nice looking device, very simple, no moving parts, simply breathe in it, breathe through it and uh, from it, and it sucks air through the iodine in the bottom of the device. Um, this, and we sell that for $200 with 10 free refills. The other device we have, which is our manufacturer basically gave them to us and said, hey, we'd like you to test them. I don't really think they're appropriate for the look and feel of what we want to accomplish, but that doesn't mean they don't work well. They actually work quite well. And here's what they look like. They look like a water bottle. I'm going to take it apart first to show you how it works. There's a cap on the top. I'm going to take this cap and set it aside. And then inside of the device, there's a piece that opens up like that. And when the device is filled, you simply filled with 10% PVP iodine. You simply suck on it like this. It too has no moving parts. It is quite simple. It does have a rubber gasket inside here, and I'm going to show you that in a second. And you have to be careful with that gasket. But otherwise, it's as simple as a device can get. I don't know if you can clearly see the tube that extends down towards the bottom of the device. So what I'm going to do is first open it up for you. I'm going to close this top, and I'm going to open it up like this. It takes just a few screws to open it up. Inside this piece, there's a washer, a rubber silicone washer that you got to make sure it stays in there. It's important to keep a good seal. And the rest of it really is simply, it's really a water bottle. Um, it requires, the reason we sell the liquid that goes with it is that PVPI isn't cheap, and we use full strength PVPI that we get from McKesson, which would otherwise be used in a surgical setting in a hospital or a clinic or a surgery center. And this device requires about 250 milliliters of iodine in order to reach the bottom of the tube. Now that I've just poured in about 250 milliliters, but that 250 milliliters of iodine will last about 2 weeks, maybe a little more, but for sure 2 weeks. It'll continue to deliver iodine vapor to the lungs. And once you've got it in there, you can see that it comes up to about here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to put the top back on with its tube that goes into the liquid. I'm then going to open up the top and pull air through the iodine in the device, this water bottle-ish kind of device, into my lungs, hold it there for a few seconds, and then exhale. And it makes a nice sort of pleasant gurgling sound when you're using it. It goes like this. And I've drawn into my lungs something like 0.1 milligrams of iodine. That is 100 micrograms of iodine. Our suggestion is that you do this anywhere from 5 to 10 times a day. So we'll give you the device for free. We will sell you the liquid iodine, and we'll sell them in 250 milliliter containers so that you don't have to measure them or anything like that. And each container will last you half a month, might even be 3 weeks. You close this up. The iodine is completely contained in here, and it lasts a long time. You'll, if you wouldn't want to drink all this because this is pretty potentially toxic to your thyroid, well, initially it would go away as well. Thyroid doesn't like it at first, but then it just your body excretes it quite nicely. So the cost of each of the 250 milliliter bottles of iodine is $10. So we can give you 1 or 2 or 3 of these, depending upon how many you want. You just tell us, and we'll package them up when we do that for you. So it's a wonderful device. It delivers it passively delivers molecular iodine deep into your lungs and thence to your bloodstream. And it would be appropriate to ask, excuse me, why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? I won't give you the very long explanation, but I'll give you a quick shot at an explanation. The normal way we get iodine into our bodies, we Americans, is by eating it in the foods that we consume. Those foods, if they have been watered by ocean arising clouds that have iodine in them from the ocean, the only source of iodine on the planet, those clouds will water plants. The plants get iodine. And when we eat those plants, or the animals that eat those plants, or the insects that eat those plants, or the birds that eat those plants and those insects, we get iodine into our digestive system. And once that food hits the gastric acid contents of your stomach, which is about pH of a little bit under 3, it's pretty acidic. It instantly converts the iodine to its anion form of iodide. And the reason we're designed that way is that the thyroid, which is the master gland of the body that determines the speed at which we process, metabolize all of our processes, the way we metabolize food and oxygen and every other process in the body, from the pace of hormone release into our bloodstream to the movement of our muscles. All of that is controlled by our thyroid and its production of 2 different kinds of hormones. And those hormones are essential for life. We cannot live without them. If you had no iodine for a matter of a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, you would very soon be incapacitated. Within a couple of months, you would die for sure. If you had children during that period, or if you got pregnant during that period, your children would be born with severely inhibited intellectual capability. It doesn't happen much anymore, thank God, because we know about it. So that is one pathway that the body uses to take in iodine and suffice the thyroid gland for its production of thyroid hormones called T3 and T4. However, if you live on the coast, or if perchance you're a whale or a seal or a walrus, an orca, any other kind of sea mammal, you will be breathing iodine in the air, more or less at sea level, or any of the air that blows across the many different species of seaweed that concentrate iodine out of the water. Or if, for example, you lived on Okinawa or Sardinia or the peninsulas off the west coast of Mexico or somewhere on one of the seaweed carrying islands of the Aegean in the Mediterranean. You would be breathing iodine all the time. And it's very, very healthful. It does many things. Molecular iodine goes from your lungs into your bloodstream, where it does a magnificent job of fighting infectious disease organisms. And by infectious disease organisms, I mean bacteria, viruses, parasites, archaea, and other small critters that we really don't want to have very many of. We can tolerate a few. We just can't tolerate gobs and lots of them. And they make us sick or just chronically sick, which in some cases is even worse than being very sick because they make us fatigued and out of control and out of sorts with the wonderful pleasure of being a healthful human walking on earth. And so it's very important to breathe iodine, but we don't breathe it anymore. We Americans, unless you live on the coast or go sailing all the time, it's not going to happen. You could move to Okinawa and it would happen, and you'd always be breathing iodized air. And the Okinawans typically are eating fruits and vegetables that are giving them somewhere between 3 and 6 milligrams, 3 and 6 milligrams a day, 3,000 and 6,000 micrograms a day of iodine. And they are breathing molecular iodine. And the result of that is that they're enormously healthy and they live very long lives and they live very healthful and happy lives. Iodine has an enormous impact in both its anion and in its molecular form on the sanity, sanctity, and cognitive health of the brain. The three key areas of the brain that are involved in cognitive function are the most dense in iodine, more dense than other portions of the brain. And our brain can't function without iodine. And it comes to the brain either as thyroid hormones or as molecular iodine that you have breathed in ocean air. So unless you plan to transmute yourself into a whale, a seal, a walrus, or an ocean bird, or go and live on Okinawa, Sardinia, or the Aegean Islands, you're not going to be breathing a lot of iodine unless you have one of these. So again, as I stated, we give these away. We'll charge you $10 a bottle for the 250 milliliters of iodine liquid, almost what it costs us. And we'll ship it out to you for free. And if you want one of these things, just give us a call. Give me a call. I'll answer the phone, or somebody on the staff will answer the phone. take an order for one and charge you for one or two or three of these bottles. If you order three of the bottles, we won't charge you any shipping. If you order only one or two of them, we'll charge you between $14 and $19 in USPS shipping costs. Now, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Our phone number is 305-667-9375. If you want to learn more about our regular inhaler, this one, or the inhalation process, you can go to inhaler.me, M for Mary, E for Edward, inhaler.me, and it'll tell you a fair amount about why we think this is such a spectacularly useful and indeed important device. I would add one thing. There's a great deal of clinical research that demonstrates that molecular iodine, not ingested iodine that transforms into iodide for thyroid hormone production, but molecular iodine is a very effective anti-cancer, anti-neoplastic element. And there's been a lot of research on this over the last 25 years. That doesn't mean that you're going to cure cancer with it, but as an adjunctive help to other cancer therapies, it has proved to be extremely effective. If you have fibrocystic breast disease, which attacks sooner or later 90% of all women on the planet, iodine like this will help you to get rid of it. That is a proven clinical fact. If you want more information, just give us a call. We can send you lots of supporting articles that describe the tremendous usefulness and efficacy of molecular iodine. And we would be glad to do that. Anything we can do to help. Again, don't hesitate to call. We run a 24/7 operation. We answer the phone all the time. Thanks for listening.